مساء الخير Batra Daf. Sadi Rima Amud Aleph, 2 lines down. Tashma. Let's bring a proof against Rab. Shosh Nagach the Parab, an ox gored a cow, and he killed it. And next to the dead cow, we see a fetus laying next to the cow. But anyway, we don't know. If the cow gave birth before the ox gored it, and therefore the ox had nothing to do with its death, and it just had a miscarriage. Or maybe maybe it gored it and then it died, and then it miscarried, and therefore the ox should be chayav. So because we don't know, Mishalam Hatzin is you pay half damages for the cow because this ox was a tam. A tam bull only pays half damages. Throw back to Kama. And urvia lavlad and a quarter damages for the baby. Because also it's half damages, but it's a quarter because we're not sure. So if it was full responsibility, pay 50%. But because we don't know, it's half of that as well. We split that. So therefore, you're only paying a quarter. But my, the question is what's why? It's a question according to Rav. Rav says you go majority of cows. Most cows become pregnant and give birth. Therefore, we have to go according to majority, and therefore it must be it got killed because of the ox. And therefore, if that's the case, the baby died because of the ox. You should pay full damages for the miscarriage. Question against Rav. The Gemara says, "Hatam no." We're not sure. Also, the other variable. Maybe the ox came to attack the cow from face on, and because of fear it miscarried, which would not make the ox owner responsible. Maybe it came from behind. And it died because of the impact of the goring without seeing him. And because we don't know what happened, since another variable thrown in as to what had happened, it's a safek money, and that gets split. An ox was grazing in the field, and a dead ox was found next to it. Even if the dead ox that was obviously has gored marks, so we see that was gored. And the ox that was next to it alive has a hazakah, has a history of goring. The dead ox was bitten to death. And the live ox next to it had a hazakah, had a history of biting. We don't say that this ox is chayav. It was responsible. This ox gored it or killed it or bit it, and you're not automatically chayav. Rabbi says, even if you have cows that are mating amongst other cows, camels rather, camels mating amongst other camels, which are apparently a very violent process. And you see a dead camel on the floor. You say that you are certain that the camel killed it. My apologies, I jumped ahead. Again, we said let's go back a couple of seconds. We see by the case of the oxen, your patur. Rabbi Aha holds that in the case of uncertainty, you are chayab, like in the case of the camels. The Gemara says, right now we're comparing or saying that the cases hazakah and majority are the same. Yani history and majority. The same way we compared the case of the ox that has a history of goring / biting to the case of hazakah, the history. We're comparing something with majority. But we're saying no. Therefore, therefore you might say that Rav would hold that we go Rabbi Acha, who holds like the camels are chayav automatically, even without witnessed. Shmuel will like Tanakama, who holds that we don't go according to automatic. Just because you see the guy standing next to the body with the knife in your hand, doesn't mean he's the one who did it. Which, by the way, in human damages, human life, that you need witnesses. Everybody would agree to that. So the Gemara says, no, Rav would say, not necessarily. There's a difference between majority case and a case of history. I could even hold like Tanakama. Because Tanakama was saying that you go by majority without a case of hazakah. Maybe he might agree that we do follow a case of rov, even without hazakah. Shmuel might say, over there, you only goes after hazakah, but the who gufe mehuzak, because this cow we can assume was the killer because of the activity that it was engaging in. But in the case of majority, we won't go. And therefore, it's not a proof that that's the machloket was based off. Okay, Tashma. Someone sells fruits to his friend, Uzra'an, and the guy planted it, didn't grow even if he was flaxseed, he does not have to reimburse him for a refund from our Mishnah. Maya filu, what does it mean even if it was flaxseed? Lava filu sounds like even if the case is Zera Pishtan, he planted flaxseed, which is majority bought for planting. And even so, we don't go after majority. And we see from there that a question against Rav who holds it is majority. The Gemara says, Tahi, no. Everybody relax. We have a mahloket Tanaim over here. What's the mahloket Tanaim? The Tanya Batra says, someone sells fruits to his friend, Uzra'an, and he planted it, didn't grow. If the produce was garden seeds, which are not used for eating, you have to repay it. If it was flaxseed, which is only sometimes eaten, you don't have to reimburse. However, you have to reimburse him the price for the seed, but not for the expense. And he says to him, what? People buy flax seeds for other purposes, and therefore you can't force a refund. So, man Tanay, who's Tanay? Which opinions are you holding like right now regarding majority? If we're talking about a case of Rabbi Yossi, which is the case where the guy told him majority to divide by then that would make it sound like that both opinion holds like majority. More azil bataruba than inshi, and therefore, what would be the two types of majorities? The first opinion would hold, I hold regarding to what people buy usually, and therefore the seller is batur because people usually buy for eating. Or more azil bataruba is riya, another person you go according to the type of seed, and therefore, in that case, if you sold them something that's supposed to be planted, then it should be if it's a planting seed and it doesn't plant, then you're chayav. Like if you're talking about the machloket between Tanakama and Rabbi Yosef, Tanakama v'amrilo, or between the case of Tanakama and the opinion that said that said to him. What's that referring to? Shmuel would agree with Tanakama. We don't necessarily follow Rov. We don't necessarily follow Rabbi majority. And Rav would hold like Rabbi Yosef, and the other opinion that did the whole majority. So we see from the fact that Tanakama had the seller is patur, the seller doesn't have to refund, shows that Tanakama holds that we don't follow majority because we go majority of buyers. So there's a different type of majority. Okay, Timran. When you're refunding, what do you require to refund? Do you refund just the seed? Not the expenses. I spent 3 months planting the item, now it doesn't work. I want you to pay me for 3 months of work. Some people say, you even have to repay the expenses as well. Big question. I'm sure there's many practical associations that we have to current halacha today. Who's the opinion? Like, let's say shipping. I shipped you something that you have to refund, you return. Now, did you pay me back for the shipping? I don't know. Okay. Who's the opinion of Yeshomrim that we said that those who say you pay for expenses? So we say, which opinion? Which Benaita or Mishnah we see that he holds it you're chayav for expenses? In Rashbag, if you're talking about a case of our Mishnah, the Tanakh Mecheper the Habroza on the field Zera Pishtan in Chayav Rotan, Ema Sefa, but the next part of the Mishnah says, Ravan Shimon there, if the sale was for garden seeds which is not edible, you have to pay it back. Tanakama Nami Hachikama. The Tanakama seemingly also says this. Zera Pishtan who they know have Rachutan has Zera Anaginash and Nachlin, because the Tanakama said specifically by garden seeds your patur. But if flaxseed you're patur. But if it was garden seeds, then you are chayav. So what would be the difference? Must be so it must be the machlok between Tanakama and Rashbag is whether or not you have to pay for expenses as well, or just the seeds and Rashbag would be holding expenses. Gemara says no, it's not a good proof that Rashbag holds expenses. We might. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe Tanakama hold chayav for expenses. Okay, halakasha. You say no, maybe. The reason why to believe that Rashbag is the one who holds that he's adding on the expenses is because he came second. And anytime there's a second opinion, if it looks like they're agreeing, they both said you're chayav, for example, it must be Rashbag is more machmir, and therefore we have to say that Rashbag holds you're chayav on expenses. Gemara says maybe the entire Mishnah is Rashbag. Maybe the Mishnah is missing word. There's no proof that he holds expenses. Mishnah is follow. How much Rashbag holds. We're re-explaining the Mishnah. Maybe it's missing some words. That if someone planted seeds, didn't grow, even if it's flax seeds, you're not chayav. According to Rashbag. Rashbag, because Rashbag holds if you're having if you planted seeds that are not edible, so there's no proof from here that Rashbag would hold the expenses. Tomorrow has to bring a new proof. Ella must be Rashbag. Tanya Breta. If a person takes a wheat guy to grind it. The guy didn't moisten it and he ruined it. And he came out as bad flour. He brought flour to the baker to bake. And he made it into bad bread. He took an animal to the butcher, and he turned it into nevelah. He didn't slaughter it correctly. Hayav. The craftsman's hayav in all cases. He's like a paid worker, and you're chayav. Rashbag says, not only you have to pay him for the refund, basically, but you also have to pay him for any embarrassment that he may have incurred because he was planning on serving this to people, and now he's embarrassed. And not only that, not only you have to even pay for the embarrassment of his guests. So we see from here that a Rashbag is very machmir on embarrassment. So for sure, he's also machmir on very strict on the expenses. He also say elsewhere. Minhag gadol, we had this famous minhag. Someone hired a caterer to prepare a meal, and the guy messed it up. He has to pay the customer the value of his embarrassment and the embarrassment of the guests. Another minhag, a very nice one. Had a special cloth doormat outside the house when it was mealtime. Anytime the cloth mat is out there. It's to let guests know they could come, come eat. Once that cloth is removed, nobody would enter because obviously not time to eat. Mishnah. Someone's selling grain to his friend. The guy is accepting upon himself. The buyer understands. A quarter kav of impurities per sa, which is a 24th, which is like around 4%. So when you're buying grain, you know that 4% of the grain is not good. Right? This will never work in Costco. If you're buying figs, you're accepting upon yourself. Every 10 out of 100 might be wormy. Seller of wine, barrels. 10 barrels of bad wine per 100. Beer kegs in Sharon. You accepting upon yourself that there's going to be 10 lower quality beer kegs per 100, 10% also.